Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second day of our, what would I call it now? Um, Talk show, if you can call it that, where we talk about anything real estate, and even life in general. So, if you're coming on this live, kindly help me like, help me comment, if what I'm saying makes sense, and help me share. Also, I would like you to subscribe. If this is the first time you're joining us, kindly subscribe so that you get more educative things like this, as we go on what is happening in the real estate space. That's actually what we'll be discussing. And in doing that, we'll also be talking about life in general, our experience and all. So I would like you, as you join, please like, comment, share, and do well to subscribe. Do well to subscribe. I really appreciate that. So yesterday we talked generally about real estate, about what's it called, land banking, a true meaning of land banking, and how that you don't dabble into it, just like that. You need to something you need to consciously, you know, dive into. Uh-huh. Haven't taken into consideration a number of factors. So don't just go in because other people are going into it. And also, I talked about consistency. I talked about focus in life. I talked about it doesn't matter where you start. The important thing is that you start. A lot of times, people buy time, procrastinate. Say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next tomorrow. But the important thing is you need to just take that decision. Do it. Just do it. Like Nike would say, just do it. That catchphrase. It's always something on my in my mind. Just do it. Whatever you need to do, start. And the best time for you to start is now. So today we're going to be talking about land or house uh, payment, what's it called, installment in Nigeria. What I'm talking about now is when you are on a payment plan. That before you get on that payment plan, say you want to buy a house or you want to buy land, what are the considerations? What are the things that you look out for before you dabble into it? It's important because sometimes we don't really sit back to review things objectively before we dive on it. Probably the person that is talking to you, maybe the agent or the company that is speaking to you, wanting to convince you to buy, just buy, buy, buy. No, you need to ask basic questions. And that is what we want to find out. So is it a good thing? Is it a smart move, or is it a trap? So that we're going to learn. It's going to be an interactive session. So I would like you, as we go along, if you have any experience in that regard, please do well to share. If you also have a thing or two to add, if you need clarification, ask. That's why we're here. So today I say I welcome everybody. So if you're looking to buy land or house in Nigeria, but don't have all the cash at once, you probably have seen adverts that will tell you pay 30% down, put 30% down, and then spread the balance over a period of 6 to 12 months. Some even go as much as 36 months, And when you look at it, it actually sounds sweet. It sounds very interesting. Oh, so you mean I can just put down this amount now and I'll pay, over a period of time towards owning land, towards owning house in Nigeria. It sounds very, very nice and all that. But before you go into it, I like you to sit back and review it. Check the advantages and disadvantages of taking that decision. It is very, very important. So as we ride along, like I said, please do well to like, do well to comment and share, and then also subscribe, please. I'd like you to subscribe so that you'll be getting things like this, videos like this, educative videos like this on real estate. So come with me as we ride on. So the first one, let's talk about the advantages first. The first advantage one we look at is affordability. You see, a lot of times you may not have that money that you put down, because money is like I don't know, it's like the wind. Sometimes you have the money, before you know it, one thing or the other will come would grab your attention, or there's a need for money, you need to pay bills and all that, and that money is gone. So sometimes when you see this advert, it's not like you have that money bulk, but what you are riding on is the fact that, okay, I have the down payment. If it's 30%, if it's 20%, if it's 10%, if it's 40%, I do have it. And then I have a steady job, or I have something that I do that brings me money on a monthly basis. So I think I can do this, and you just jump on it. So it affords you that ability to be able to take that decision at that particular point in time. That's one of the good thing about it, because you see, you have that money, you can drop it, and now you can beat your chest and say, you know what, I'm a landowner. You can say it up front, I'm a landowner, because surely you're going to pay down. So it makes so much sense for one to to jump on that kind of thing. Also, the second one will be that you've been able to lock in the price now. Now I want to dwell on this for a bit. You see, nothing in this life is static. You know, constantly price is either going up or it's going down. And in Nigeria, price of land is constantly going up. The value of land, the land you meet today, before you know it, it's gone up. There's a land that we're advertising right now in Ekpe. 5 years back, when this company launched this product, it was going for 600,000 naira, 500,000 naira, 900,000 naira. At the point it got to 1.5 million naira. But as we speak, as of today, that land is going for 18 million naira. So what has changed? A lot has changed. You see, because a lot of things drive the value of land in Nigeria. And in Lagos, in particular, there are a lot of things, issues, considerations. One is proximity to social amenities. Perhaps there's something government is doing in that region that will drive up the price. The title of the land will also drive up the price. Now, this land in particular, when it started, it was just survey and deed. But right now, they've been able to get government allocation CFO. So you see why the price just went up. So imagine those that bought 5 years ago at say 900,000 or even 600,000. See the margin, see what they have made just 5 years down the line. So that is how it is. You're able to lock down the price. As at that time, if the land was going for 5 million naira, for instance, you've locked it down on that price. But of course, and I will also come to that. But whatever price there is that they tell you this is how much you're going to pay over this period of time, you have been able to lock it down. So if tomorrow they raise the price, which is normally the case, all the time they keep raising the price, because they will come out with pre-launch price, they will come out with launch price, and then after that time they wait for some months, the property appreciates because they would have done one thing or the other on the land. They would have done the gatehouse, maybe street gates, inside they'll build one thing or the other. And sometimes, a lot of times, these developers also build houses inside to further improve and raise the value of that land. So a whole lot would have gone on, and before you know it, they will raise the price again. But the advantage for you that is on a payment plan is that you have locked it down for that price. So whatever happens, they're not going to change the price for you. That is it. So, and land value in Nigeria can jump as high as 30 to 50% within a year. I've seen it happen severally. Take for instance, I talked about Ibejuleki yesterday, and that's the truth. Ibejuleki, when it started, it was just like you could buy land there at some point, 500,000, less than that, as some bought large parts of land then, less than 500,000. But today, what is the case? For those that have been able to perfect their document, land there now is going for as high as 45 million and above. As a matter of fact, there is a launch I was supposed to go to, a launching of an estate I'm supposed to go for today, which is a commercial estate. It's just by the coastal road. And the land, as of today, will be going for 60 million. 60 million for 500 square meters. So you see, it's not something that you wait for. So when you see a good opportunity, and you don't have the bulk money, you don't have the money to pay in full, then it's a good buy. Then another thing is leverage. Leverage is another advantage you have. You control an appreciating asset with relatively small initial capital. So if the price rises faster than your balance, you've made a smart move. So you have leverage. What that means is you are buying at this price, and then tomorrow it appreciates. And you compare how much you bought it, how much is going now. You have leverage. You've been able to get good value for that little investment that you made. And that is it. There was a time when bungalows started raining in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, people were building bungalows, all over the place. And then it was going for 30 something thousand, 30 something million, 35 million, and all that. And the smart investors quickly cashed in on that opportunity. And today they are smiling to the bank. Today, the lowest, what's it called? The lowest bungalow you will get on the island, Lagos Island, will be in the range of 50 something million, 55 million. There are some that is as high as 73, 76 million for a 3 bedroom bungalow. Some don't even have BQ, some with BQ. So it's for you to know that, look, for just that small amount, you'll be able to in that value. And so whatever price it goes at, you'll be able to make, very good profit. If you intend to flip it tomorrow, you will make good profits. So with land, you can never go wrong. So it's a very good, an advantage of you going on a payment plan. Then the fourth one will be cash flow management. Cash flow management. Cash flow management. So instead of you emptying everything that you have, emptying your account because you want to buy land, you've been able to control your cash flow. You make a down payment, and then steadily you pay down. I talked about consistency. I talked about being focused on a project. So this makes you focus. You know that every month you have to set aside this amount to service the property, to service the land, to service the property. So it makes you more focused, it makes you more determined. You understand? So cash flow management, you're able to manage your cash flow better. You see, when your money is coming in and there's nothing you're putting it to, a project you're putting it to, like I said, money is like breeze. Before you know it, it's blown away. So this one makes you're very focused, you're consciously directing it in where you're supposed to go to. So also, you can keep emergency funds and pay gradually from monthly income. So like I said yesterday, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. As much as I advertise land, I also would expect that you set aside some monies in an emergency funds in case of any eventuality, which may always come out. If you live in Nigeria, things like that will always happen. Even when you're outside Nigeria, it does happen. So you set aside some money, emergency, you invest in stocks, in bonds, and all those things. I also will be talking about those ones as we ride along. So, and then you also put money in real estate. But you see, when it comes to real estate, you need to sit back and really think about where do you put the bulk of your money, you know, because real estate is one investment you can quickly turn around within a year. Yeah, people may say it's not so liquid, but the truth of the matter is, if you buy in a good place, I'm telling you, buyers will be begging you with money. There was this case somebody told me about, how that somebody bought land. I don't know how many plots now. I can't remember exactly how many plots she bought, and then just went to sleep, forgot the land and everything. And then after, I don't think that thing was up to 2 years. They called. People were just coming to that place. Who owns this land? Who owns this land? We're interested and all. So, word of mouth from one person to another. And then there was a time she chanced going there. Like, madam, they've been looking for you. People have been looking for you and all that and all this. Like, what do they want me for? I said, okay, we're interested. I want to buy. How much? At the end of the day, what the guy was offering was far, far, far. And this is like 2 years. And The person was ready with money, begging her to please just let me buy. And that also, by way of digression, that's why I tell people when you want to buy land, please ensure you don't buy one. Don't buy one plot. Don't buy two. If you can afford to buy an acre, that's why it's better to go on this payment plan. Buy an acre so that when the price of the land increases and the value increases, you quickly sell. If you want to sell, you sell two. I used to take care of certain things. So please, if you're joining this live for the first time, please kindly like. If what I'm saying makes sense, kindly like, kindly comment, and also share. I would also appreciate if you subscribe. I really, really will appreciate. Kindly subscribe so that you see more of these educative videos. So like I said, there's also another example. This woman, she was cajoled into buying, more or less say cajoled, because she didn't really want to buy, land. Then it was in this area where you have MFM in Lagos, Maboro or something. Yeah, Maboro or something. So she bought land in that place, and when she bought it, she bought like 3 plots, and she just left it. So a time came when the husband was, retired from active service, and he said, "Look, I'm retiring. I'm going back. Let's all go back to the village." She said, "No, that she can't go back to the village. That there was this land that she bought." Even the husband was not aware. And that is why, like, as women, you have to put on your thinking cap. You're thinking for yourself, you're thinking for your husband, you're thinking for your children. You must not get carried away by Ashwebi. Every time you're going to parties, you're buying jewelry, you say you're saving gold. Yes, it's good to save in gold, but please, 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 have a roof over your head is very, very important. It's very, very important, because at the end of the day, those things won't save you. So this lady, she bought that land, and then she told her husband, I said, "Look, there's this land I bought. Oh, let's just even see how it's going now." And then she went to the place. Lo and behold, people were willing to buy the land. So what she did, I think she said no, she bought 4. So what she did, she sold 2 out of the 4. And the amount she sold it for was able to build them a house in the remaining 2 plots. He was able to build them a house in the remaining 2 plots. In fact, I was amazed. I said, wow, really? They were able to build a house, they bought a generator and everything. The husband was shocked. You see, that man till tomorrow the ground, worships the ground that she steps on. The man is so excited, so happy. He's like, hey God, I didn't know I married such an intelligent woman. So you see, all this, they live happily ever after. The reason why they are living happily ever after is that the woman is making valuable contribution in the home. The man is making valuable contribution in the home. See, love, no, love does not operate in isolation. There must be something you're bringing to the table. There must be some contribution you're making. There must be something you're doing that is making that is endearing that man to you. That man will look at and say, this woman, she's treasure. She is a treasure. I can't leave this woman. So those are the things. So that's the consideration. So when it comes to land, my dear, you can never go wrong with it. And this payment plan thing, this having a payment plan really helps a lot. Then the fifth one is possibility of early completion. Many developers give discounts. There are some cases where they give discounts. There's possibility of early discount, of early completion. Sometimes they give you discount, say, okay, if you can pay up this amount, because it's already a relationship, we can quickly deliver your own units. So again, what we're talking about here today is land or house on installment in Nigeria. Is it a smart move? Is it a smart move, or is it a trap? Land or house on installment payment in Nigeria, is it a smart move or a trap? So we've looked at the advantages. Let's now go to disadvantage. So as we ride along, please do well to like, to share, to subscribe, and also to make a comment. Please, if what I'm saying makes sense, kindly do that. So now, disadvantages. Let's go to the disadvantages, because everything that is good also has uh, disadvantage. So let's look at them. So the number one point is that most of the time, in fact, all the time, the cost is higher total cost. Most sellers add a price premium for installment. You could pay 15 to 20%. That one is true. And you also know the reason. If you have money bulk now and I go to the market, I'm able to buy at the present price, and I will be able to achieve all that I need to do. Buy the rod, buy cement, buy blocks, buy all the building material I need. I can be able to project, okay, within this time to this time, I would have been able to put up this building at this cost. But when you're having to pay every month, prices change. In fact, in Nigeria today, our local market, if you go to the market today, the price you see a product today is not the price you see tomorrow. It would have changed, and it's always higher because of the economic realities that we're facing in the country. And I know it's the same everywhere in the world, even abroad. I remember in US, there was a time where, prices don't change quickly as they do now. So what you see today, in 2 days' time, even in a day's time, you go back, it's another thing entirely. So they have to put a margin, you understand, to be able to cushion the effect of what the price will be tomorrow, because it will definitely go up. So they put, you may be made to pay 15 to 25%, premium when you go on a payment plan. Then another one is default risk. If you miss 2 installments, some developers will insert a forfeiture clause. They will say you will lose all your payment, or they will say you will lose a percentage of your payment. Yes, that clause is always there in your contract. And that is why I would always encourage you, when you buy land, please ensure to read the contract of sale. Very, very important. It's long, it's boring. Yes, all those grammar, but read. It's very, very important before you put your signature to it. Because a lot of times you don't read and you come back and say, why did they do this? Why did they do that? It is there. I always encourage my clients, read and then sign. So if you're not okay with what is there, you can raise it. You can raise objection, because it's an agreement we're going into. And it's important that all the parties concerned are in agreement and they understand what they are going into. So some of these companies will say, if you miss your payment, some will say if you miss it 2 times, then they will stop the arrangement. That arrangement is cancelled and they will return your money, less 40% administrative charge, or less 30% administrative charge. They do that a lot. Some companies will tell you that if you stop payment, the amount that you've paid for, that they are going to use it and give you a land equivalent to what you have paid for in another location. Some do it. So it's good for you to read between the lines. Some will tell you they don't refund. They don't make any refund whatsoever. What they are going to give you is to give you another land. So my people, read. I want to emphasize on it. Read between the lines. If you need to get a lawyer to help you look at that contract of sale before you append your signature. It is very, very important. So I think in this country where we are, nobody will tell you, your payment, they're taking your money and they are not giving you the land equivalent, or at all. They won't give you anything. No, nobody will do that for you in Nigeria here. But the truth of the matter is, they all have different clauses. Some will tell you, we will refund less 30% administrative charge, or less 40% administrative charge. Or some will tell you, instead of giving you that money, we're going to give you land. We have numerous estates. We're going to give you a land for the equivalent of that amount that you have paid down. That is most of the time what you see. So also another thing is that when you're on a payment plan, you don't get to get all the legal documents. You don't get all the legal documents. Now, when you're a payment plan, this is what you're going to get. Yes, the contract of sale will be given to you, the receipt, your initial payment, yes, and then all the payments you're going to be making they are going to be giving you receipt. Ensure that anytime you make payment, you collect your receipt and check it, cross check, and be sure that, okay, the amount I've just paid have been deducted from the total amount I'm supposed to pay. Also check when you were registered, I mean, when you were subscribing for that land, the amount they told you were going to pay on the form, that is what is reflected on the initial receipt that they gave to you. And further deductions, as they make those deductions, check it and be sure that the figures that you get, that is arrived at, it is what it is, that there's no manipulation anywhere. It is important. This please take note of this, because a lot of times we've had cases where people come and say, but I made this payment and it's not reflecting on my balance. So it's important that all this is reflected in your balance. So ensure. So the legal document, they will not give you, they will give you contract of sale, they will give you receipts, and all the subsequent payment you're going to be making, they will give you. But one of the things you are not going to get is the deed and the survey. Reason being that you have not finished paying for that amount. If, for instance, you finish paying for the land, both the land and the statutory fees, say deed of assignment for survey, if you have paid for all that, or maybe even development fee, they are going to give you survey, a registered survey for your land. Now, because you're still making payment, they are not even sure you are going to finish making your payment. And also, people are coming to make payments. Some are making outright payment. They are allotting them their plots. So as at that time in question, they don't really know where they are going to allot the plot, the particular plot. Even if you are buying acre, the particular acres we're going to allot to you until the payment is full. So when you've made your full payment, then they can say, okay, this space is what we're going to give to you. But be sure that the mere fact that you have started paying, you have your plot or plots in that estate is guaranteed. You have it. But the exact location is what they don't have. And when you don't have the exact location, you can't give a survey. I need to educate people on that so that you will know. You can't give a survey on it, because the survey is going to show them that this is your landmark. From here to here is a land. This is how big it is. This is where it is on the whole, what's called a layout, the estate layout. This is where your particular plot is. So they're not going to give you survey. Also, deed, they are not going to give you a deed because you've not completed payment. But once those payments are completed, they will surely give you all that. Usually from 30 days, you should be able to get your survey. You should be able to get your survey and your deed. You know why sometimes it takes time? They like to gather, it won't be just one person, because it's an estate we're talking about, where you have acres and hectares of land. So taking just one person to go and assign him his land, which is what we call physical allocation, may not be possible. So that is it. Then another thing it will be that sometimes these developers abandon projects, especially for houses under construction. They collect down payment from people, and then one story or the other, which is why you must deal with a reliable developer. So even when we agents are telling you about these people, it's important for you also to do your own due diligence, to get to know, go online, ask questions, know how long have these people been in the market, what have they done before, what projects have they delivered on, what is the feelers outside there, how do these people see this person. There's one company that I market for, and the amazing thing I do say to people, I say this person has grace, because you see their properties selling out, selling out, selling out. It's so wonderful. Before you know it, sold out, sold out. It's because they've been able to establish themselves as a trusted real estate company in Nigeria, a very trusted one. They match their words with their action. When they say they will do this, you can be sure they will deliver. On the timelines, they will deliver. Because it's very important. It's not just to say, we're going to build. Are you delivering on the timeline? What you promise, is it what you're giving out? Then another one is hidden interest. You see sometimes some contracts they call it administrative fee or service fee. Sometimes it can be as high as 20 to 30%. So these are the things you need to iron out from the onset. There should be no hidden charges. Sometimes you see these hidden charges, so you need to raise alarm. This thing was not there from the onset. Why is it coming on board now? You need to make noise. You need to make trouble. The other time, I was discussing with somebody, and I said, the problem we have in this country is that a lot of times people tell you, you see things going wrong, and you want to talk about it. I say, no, don't talk. Oh, don't talk. Don't say anything. Just leave them. Just leave them for God. Leave them for God. Are you kidding me? Leave them for God. When you have your mouth, when you have your sense, then why are we human beings? You should be able to reason. You should be able to, if you see something going wrong, talk about it. So if you're not happy about a thing, discuss it. Discuss it until you get what you want. You understand? You may not get exactly what you want, but at least you'll be able to arrive at you meet at a point. It's very, very important. So when you see some of these things, talk about it. This was not part of the agreement initially. Why is it coming up now? And also ask all the questions at that initial time. Say, for instance, you want to buy a house, and they're building the house, so it's off plan. Off plan means that the building is not standing. They build as you pay. They are building. You understand? So iron it out from the onset. Ask questions. Is there going to be service charge? If there's going to be, how much is it? Administrative charge. Let me know the things I'm going to be paying after I get my unit in this estate. Let me know from the get-go. It's very, very important. Ask those questions. Ask these questions. You see, there's this adage that anybody that asks this question will never miss the road. You are going to a place and you're asking several people. You meet this person, please, I'm going to this place. You meet another person, I'm going to this place. Most of the time, you will not miss your way. But if you keep mute, you understand? So another one is inflation. Inflation also may work against you, and that has happened in the time past. Remember when Tinubu came on board, and he removed fuel subsidy. He also allowed the naira to be, controlled by market forces. A lot happened, my dear. A lot happened. Overnight, the cost of raw materials hit the roof. It hit the roof. A lot of developers did not survive it. I won't tell you lie. A lot of them, some folded up. A lot didn't survive it because it was so sudden. They had made their projections. They've made their plan. They know, okay, given this and this and this, each unit is going to cost this amount of money on completion. But lo and behold, there was things turned around, and at the end of the day, they didn't get value for their money. They were losing. They were building at a loss, and not just small loss, a great loss. It affected a lot of clients. So if it was a case of, okay, we'll be able to put up this, okay, maybe just affected one or two, there are some losses the developer may, it will just bear it, say, okay, there's no problem, it happens, I will always recover. But it affected a lot of people. So that singular action by the president, in fact, affected a lot of things and is still affecting. So inflation may work against you. Presently now it's at 15% in Nigeria, but who knows what's going to be tomorrow? So sometimes it will affect you, and that's why you see the developer may come back to renegotiate, which happened in that instance. The developers, some of them had to call the client to say, this was our agreement, truly, this was our agreement initially, but the way things are going now, it didn't really work out that way. So please, let's negotiate. You need to give us more money. So it happened. So that is one of the disadvantages, may work against you. But if it was a case of you paid your full money and then someone is coming to tell you a story, they're on their own. No? They're on their own. So that's it about the advantages and disadvantages. So please, if you're just joining this live, kindly I'd like you to please like this live. Please also comment, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, please subscribe. So it is very important that you also watch out for these three things, these three clauses on your contract of sales before anything. As the forfeiture clause. If it says you lose everything for one missed payment, please walk away. If they tell you that if you miss one payment, no show again, you lose all your money. I encourage you to walk away. Negotiate, be sure that there's a timeline, because things happen now, you understand. There's nothing in life that is static. Anything can happen that will make me miss a payment. So if I miss a payment, what now happens? If you tell me penalty, there's a penalty to pay. But to tell me that I lose the whole money I paid, no, no, I can't work. You understand? So also, another thing you need to look at is title document. Title document is very, very important. Buy a land with a good title. Buy a land with a good title. It gets why. Buy a land with a good title. I know it's not like guarantee, 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 because the truth of the matter is, even a land that has CFO, the government can come take over the place. But there will be compensation, and you will have right to sue. You can sue the person. But you buy a land, even the survey you have on it is provisional survey. It's not registered survey. Maybe I'll have a class for that. See, as you listen to this live, if there are topics you want me to talk about, or you've had some issues or experience you want to share, kindly put it down. Kindly put it down, and I will look at it. And when I go live again, one of the days, I'm going to talk about it. So you can imagine what happened in what's it called, Ibejuleki. There are some of them that had, yes, legal documents. You go to court. That's why the court is there. You go to court because you have legal documents. But imagine a situation where you don't have, you start struggling. So you need to watch out. And also, possession timeline. You also need to ask this question. At what point do I take possession? There are some companies that sell land, houses. They'll tell you, okay, if you make up to this number of time, you may be able to make up to this amount of money, you'll be able to pay down this amount of money, we'll give you the key, and then you continue to pay. So you need to ask these questions. At what point do I take possession? Is it at 80%? Is it at 40%? Is it at 50%? Is it at 90%? At what point? At what point can I make my fence? These are the questions that you need to ask. So one of the questions I will leave you with is that, would you rather pay cash or installment for property? So I need you to answer that question. Would you rather pay cash, as in pay everything at once, or would you rather pay on installment for property? Is it cash only, or is it installment if it's a trusted developer? So which would it be? Or no, it is very risky, I would rather not do any of them. So another one question I want to ask is, what's your biggest fear with installment? What's that fear you have with installment? If you have any, is it losing down payment? Is it developers fraud? Is it hidden charges? Is it title not delivered? So let me have uh, your view on what I have just discussed. I like for you to be interactive. So kindly do that. And if you have questions, drop it. Even when I go off this, you can have replay, and then look at it, and then get back to me. Be sure that I'm going to reply every of your inquiry. So today again, my name is Joy Wandabasim, your go-to realtor for houses and land in and around Lagos, Ogun State, Oyo State. Even in the East, I am available. In Abuja, we have a lot of lands to sell. So you can call me on 08033002281. 08033002281. So I'll be signing out. Do have a lovely day, and remember to stay focused and disciplined. Thank you. So if I leave you with this last note, please, if you're joining us for the first time, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Signing out.